I wanted to welcome you to Thank Dog We Made It. And today what I'm going to be doing is going through the a problem that somebody sent me via email. They sent me some photographs and they said they were happy for me to show this on YouTube so I can kind of give you guys a picture of where a problem exists and then how I go about assessing the problem and fixing it. And the trick here is to actually look at the pattern itself before you start sewing. And before you even start at the pattern, you start at measurements. So the measurement is the key here in making sure that you get the dog coat custom fit to your dog. So what I think happens a lot with people is they'll look at a size chart for a pattern and they'll say, okay, this is the one that's closest to my dog, and they make that dog coat pattern. But where the breakdown happens, I think, is that you're not customizing and you don't really necessarily have the knowledge on how to customize that pattern to fit the various key points on your dog's body. So I'm going to just transition over to the screen, the pictures that this person sent to me. I'm going to go through the photographs and show you where the areas are that she was concerned about. And then I'm going to talk about what I think would actually work as a solution. So let's just go over to these pictures here. So these are a series of photographs that she sent me. And as you can see, she's pointing out to where she feels that the problem exists on the pattern. She's feeling that this is too tight in the front and that it's too loose in the back. So if I look through the different photographs, you can see that a little bit more here, where it's quite tight. When the dog is standing, it's quite tight on the front part of the legs, but there's this large gap in behind the back side of the legs. And then also another key point that I looked at when I saw this is that you can see that this jacket is actually pulling quite far back on the neck here. Normally you want a coat that's going to come up and cover right up to their where their collar sits. And when I suggest how people should measure their dog, I say measure from the collar down to the tail, and also measure from the collar to the withers point. So what I think is really going on here is that there is a breakdown in, well, it's not a breakdown, but I think what my suggestion to her was this probably has to do with the withers. Now, this is the pattern that she sent me. And you can see this area here is where the front legs are on the dog. She hasn't sent me the whole picture of the pattern, but my assessment is that it goes off to the right here, and that there's a piece here that joins up to this piece here to make a full circle around the dog's front legs. And what's happening, if I go back to this photograph here, what's happening is it's too short here, it's too tight here, and it's too loose back here. So what I think is going on, now I'm not measuring the dog myself, so I don't know for sure what's happening, but what I think is going on is that the withers, the measurement for the withers is too short on her dog. So I'm actually, as I've mentioned before, I'm putting together a custom fit toolkit. And what this toolkit allows you to do is to look at where the problems exist and then try to go through a series of kind of eliminations to figure out where the problem exists. So if I look at, this is a flow chart that comes in the custom fit toolkit. And if I zoom in here, you can see that we've got a few different problems that might exist. The coat rides up the back, there's gaping at the neck, or it's pulling forward in the chest. And when you kind of determine where these areas, these are some of the most common problem areas. So in her case, first we're looking at the front legs opening are too tight on her. So the question is, are the front legs opening too tight? If it's yes, then it suggests look at F3 or F5. And if we zoom down here, you can see we've got these bubbles down at the bottom. So F3 says the withers are too far forward. And that's where I feel that the problem is. But you never know until you start measuring. It could also be that the chest circumference is just too tight on this dog. Or if we look back, if we zoom back out, we can also, oops, sorry, I went too far forward. We can also, I'm forgetting how my keyboard's, here we go. If it's the type of jacket that she's working on comes into one of these 3 different styles of pattern, and I think it's closest to a panel style pattern. And so again, if it's pulling forward at the chest, which is what she's suggesting is happening, then I'm saying CF3, F7, or F9. And again, you don't know the answer to this until you start measuring your dog. But because her type of jacket comes closest to the panel style pattern, we can suggest that it's either going to be F3, the withers are too far forward, which I already suggested, or F7, that the front height is too long. Sorry, the front, I'm looking at this one, F7, front height is too short, or F10, that the chest width is too wide. So we've got some different options here. And as you can see down below, it's got a page number. So page 15 for the chest width is too wide, or the F7 is page 11, and F3 is on page 9. So let's suggest, as I think, it probably has to do with a withers position problem. So if we look at, let me just zoom back out here again. If we look at this, this is a page that I've grabbed out of the measuring guide that you get within this custom fit toolkit. So it's saying go to page 9, which this is page 9, and page 9 deals with back length. It deals with the neck to withers, and then it also deals with the withers to the tail. So right now what we're doing is we're looking at the neck to withers, and I would suggest this is the first place. Almost always I will default to suggesting that checking your withers point is one of the key important pieces that you look at first. So because that just really dictates so much. It dictates where that position of that front leg sits. It dictates how tight it is in the chest and how loose it can be in the back. So I suggested take a look at your withers and measure that withers position. The other option that I said in this flow chart that I showed you, another thought that could be the problem, was that the chest circumference might be too tight. So again, your next step after you go through the troubleshooting is to look at where in the measuring workbook, take those measurements and see whether or not any one of those measurements are the culprit. So again, if I go down to this fit guide flow chart, we had the 3 options over on the, if it was pulling forward at the chest and we're thinking it's a panel style pattern, then we have the option of looking at F3, which was the withers, F7, which was the front height is too short, or F9, which the chest width is too narrow. So again, you would just go to that page in the book to figure out which one of those ones might be the problem. So the key that I'm trying to say here, oh, I had one more thing that I actually wanted to show you on this. So this is one option in the custom fit toolkit that you can use as a tool. And another one that you can use is this quick fit troubleshooting guide. And let me just zoom out again so you can see the whole time thing. So there's a quick troubleshooting guide that comes with each style of pattern. So again, you would find what your problem is, what the likely cause is, and what the likely solution is, and what page in the workbook to take a look at. So what I suggested to her, if I come back to this pattern that she gave me, is I said, what you want to try to look at first is measure your dog's withers. See if that looks to you like it's the right length. If it's not right, and I think it's too short, I think she needs to extend that withers length to make it longer. And if that's the case, if her withers measurement is too short, then I suggested, by taking a look at this pattern that she sent me, is I was suggesting that she adds more fabric into this area here. Not fabric, ultimately it would be fabric, but right now when we're at the pattern stage, I would suggest adding more paper into the pattern here. And again, when you're measuring your dog's withers, you're measuring from behind the front legs, and if you drew a straight line straight up from behind the front legs onto the spine, and then you're going to measure from that point to the neck. When we look at the pattern, this is the front legs here. You can see this kind of circle area here. This is where the front legs sit on the dog. And in fact, because there's a seam allowance in here, the front legs actually are right here where the red line is. So I drew a red line on her pattern to show where the withers position is on her pattern. This is the back edge, like where it runs along the spine, and this would likely be on the fold, so you would be cutting this in double. So what I was suggesting is she would add more fabric, or again, more pattern, more paper into her pattern to extend this area here. Ultimately, what'll still happen is you'd keep this same curve and you'd keep this same section here, and that's going to just put a whole lot of extra space in here, but it will still attach to that other piece that we can't see on her pattern, but it's still going to attach to that other piece. And you're just creating more length on the pattern. So if I go back to this one, I went too far. If I go back to this photo here, what's going to happen, we're going to kind of infer where some of the features on this dog are, but I'm going to guess that the dog's withers and the behind their front legs is about here. And the way that the dog coat is sitting is it's pulling way too far back, and it's creating this large gap up here. So if she extends that withers, she's going to be adding more fabric here, and it's not going to be pulling back so far. And if I look at this portion here, when we looked at that pattern and I suggested that she add more fabric with that red arrow, I'm saying add more fabric in this area here. But if you look, if I zoom in here, you can see this is the seam, and that's that part of the pattern that we could see. And so just by adding some extra space in here, you're still going to keep the same seam, and it's still going to join up to this edge, which is the other edge of the pattern that we couldn't see, that went off the side of the page. But by doing all of this, by extending all of this, I don't know if you can imagine this, but what would happen is it's going to shift everything up in, I can't really do it with the PDF, but it's going to push everything up towards the collar. And this whole position is going to move forward, and you'd get rid of this gap that's in behind the leg as well. So it's going to make it looser up front, it's going to make it tighter in behind the back, and this is all going to shift forward. So that's how you fix this pattern. But the thing that I'm really trying to show you here is more about how you think this process through. And again, that comes down to going through this flow chart, figuring out where your problem is, figuring what areas you need to look at on your measurements, then go to your measurement workbook and narrow down to which page in that measurement workbook that you need to look at. And again, there could be lots of different reasons, but this flow chart kind of helps you figure out, okay, well, it could either be the withers or it could be the chest. And so you look at those by measuring and you rule out which one might be the culprit. So the other thing that I wanted to mention is that in the custom fit toolkit, what I do in this, the kit, what you get with it is you get 3 different styles of pattern. You get the basic wrap style pattern, and this is the really simple pattern that I always suggest that people start with. It's quite easy to It's just a simple one. It's got very few measurements. There's only 4 measurements that you need to take. There's only a few different places on the pattern where you would change it to customize it to fit your dog. So this is a really great place to start if you've never made a dog coat before. But if you want to start challenging yourself and working with some things that have a little bit more body to the coat themselves, then the panel style pattern is the other style. And this is what I was saying is closest to what the pattern that this woman sent me, that through the photos that I was just showing you. This is closest to her style of pattern. So there are a number of things that you could troubleshoot to figure out why this style pattern isn't working. And then the last style of pattern that's included in this kit is the sleeve style pattern. And for each one of these patterns, I go through how you can customize them. I go through a very quick outline on how you can customize each one, but I also have a really detailed one that if you're really into fine-tuning how that pattern fits your dog, you can really dial it in so it fits really well. And these are the 3 major styles of patterns that people will typically be working with. And so by learning how to work with these 3 styles of patterns, you're really starting to just get a handle on how to customize all different kinds of patterns. So what I'm trying to teach you guys here is really how to assess what the problem is by dialing in to the measurement first, and then customizing your pattern. At the pattern level, you're customizing it there based on those measurements, and then ultimately taking it to the fabric and sewing it. But by doing this, you're reducing the amount of sewing that you're doing, the amount of tearing out that you're doing, the amount of patching that you may be doing by adding in extra panels. And ultimately, you're reducing the amount of fabric you're using in the land waste by doing this. So this is the key kind of information that I think is just so critical to learning how to make patterns for your dog. And I'm so excited about this toolkit because this is the area that everybody has been asking me questions on. Almost every question that I ever receive is about how do I fix this fit problem? And so I'm always trying to kind of come up with ways and answering people's questions specifically. But what I wanted to create was kind of like the frequently asked questions sort of digest, and also how to fix it and how to fix it in different styles of patterns. So I really think that this custom fit toolkit is really going to do this. It's going to help you. Whoops, I shouldn't move around because I go blurry. This custom fit toolkit is really going to help you nail that down and work through those problems so that you become the pro on fitting dog wear to your dog. And also, if you're looking at maybe expanding, and maybe some people have said, wow, that's such a great coat, would you make me one? Now you can expand beyond just your dog. You can do this for other dogs because you learn how to measure those dogs and make the patterns customized to that dog. So this is a skill set that you can use over and over again. And maybe one day you may even start selling the dog wear that you make, or even maybe you might start making patterns of your own by what you're learning about how to custom fit. That's how I got to this point. I started out by selling dog wear. I made custom fit dog wear, and I worked for 10 years doing this, and I fit all sorts of different dogs. I fit like from the smallest little teacup Chihuahua all the way to Great Danes and Mastiffs. So I really dialed in and started to learn how all of those different shapes work and how they affect the fit of the dog wear. Looking at the chest, looking at the withers, looking at all those areas and learning how that affects how things fit. So again, this toolkit is my answer to all of the frequently asked questions and really allowing you to quickly learn how to dial in on where the problems are and fix them. So I think hopefully I've answered the question that was coming up for this particular episode. I mean, the particular email that the person sent me. And if there are any other questions that anyone has, I would be happy to answer those. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to answer or put those questions into the comments below this video or any other video that I've done. And I always add my email also in the description down below. So if you want to send me photographs and email me like this other person did to give me that specific question and show me photographs and ask me where the problems might exist, I am always happy to answer those questions too. And it also helps me create things like this custom fit toolkit. So just to finalize things and wrap things up, I have this toolkit. You can sign up right now. And if you sign up for the wait list, you will be able to get a bonus, a couple of bonuses. You get a discount on the price, but you also get the 3 patterns that I talked about, the wrap style pattern, let me just see, and I'll drop back to that again. So you get these 3 patterns included in the kit. So you get the wrap style pattern, the slicker style pattern, and the sleeve style pattern. Sorry, I should say the panel style pattern and the sleeve style pattern. You get all of those if you sign up before the 15th, before the 16th. You get all of those patterns in the size that you choose. You just need to tell me what size you want and I will send you that pattern. After the 16th, then it just goes to medium size pattern. And so this is a really great bonus because it's great to start with a pattern that actually is the right size for your dog. So I will put the link down below for this custom fit toolkit if this is something that you are looking for to help you kind of work through where the fit issues are with your dog. And in the meantime, hopefully the example that I showed you today shows you how to start looking kind of at the critical fit issues within a pattern and to see how those can be fixed. Maybe you've got that exact same problem. So take a look at the description down below. I've also got a link to the measurement video that you can watch that shows you how to measure your dog. I've got a nice simple little 4-step measuring that will show you how to measure your dog. If you're looking for one that's a little bit more in depth, then the custom fit toolkit has a 10-step measuring process video. So when I was talking about that workbook, it also comes with videos that shows you each one of those stages and how to measure each one of those stages by looking at the video. So it really shows you how to do that. So that's in the custom fit toolkit as well. All right, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to put them down below in the comments or email me directly and I will respond as soon as I can. And don't forget to check out that custom fit toolkit. Jump in on that if you want to get the deal. All right. Have a great week. I will be back here next Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you then.